Hello, I'm Richard Hunter, Head of Markets, and welcome to our look ahead for the week commencing the 7th of August. It's been a relative sense of calm descending on markets after what's been a fairly torrid week. The cat was really put amongst the pigeons after the credit agency Fitch downgraded the US from its previous AAA rating. It only went down a notch, but nonetheless it was enough to send investors to the sidelines. More positively, company results season is going very well so far. An estimated 80% of companies have so far beaten expectations, admittedly against lower analyst estimates. And also, of course, there are hopes that the Federal Reserve will yet be able to engineer a soft landing for the US economy. So in the year to date, and despite that torrid week, indices do mainly remain ahead. The Dow Jones is up by 6.2%, S&P 500 by 17.2%, the Nasdaq by 33.3%, and the FTSE 100 trailing behind but still up by 1.4%. Turning to next week, a beleaguered sector in the UK has been the house builders. We've got half-year numbers coming from Persimmon, whose shares have declined by 40% over the last year. We all know about some of the reasons for this. We've had slightly faltering house prices. Of course, mortgage rates have shot up on the back of higher interest rates, to the extent that in a recent update, Persimmon said that its completions had gone down by 42%, as well as private sales. So keep an eye out for any updates on those numbers, as well as the strength or otherwise of its forward order book, and what's been happening to average selling prices, which may actually have risen on those very completions. Small consolation for investors is a dividend yield of around 5.3%, and that's despite Persimmon having cut that dividend by 75% recently. There's also in the FTSE 100 two betting companies will be reporting half-year numbers, the first one of which is Flutter Entertainment. Rather different outcome for this particular stock. Shares up 73% over the last year. A lot of that driven by its presence in the US, where it estimates that the addressable market by 2030 will be some $40 billion. That's about 4.5 times what it is today. And its presence there is particularly personified by its FanDuel operation, the FanDuel Sportsbook, which has been showing incredibly strong growth. In terms of the UK, of course, there's also been some success from Paddy Power, particularly on social media. So that's something else that's worth keeping an eye out for. Finally, another sports betting company, Entain, got its half-year numbers. Shares up about 8% over the last year. Again, it's a US story as much as anything else. This is one which has a joint venture with MGM. It's called BetMGM, and obviously that's trying to tap into that US market. It's also keeping its eyes out elsewhere in terms of looking for fast-growing economies, and indeed recently raised £600 million to buy the leading Polish sports betting company STS, which had a negative impact on the share price at the time, but nonetheless one can see the obvious strategic attraction of such deals, and there could be more to follow. Thank you for watching. Have a great week.